Hello everybody. Today I am going to talk about Thomas Gray. He was born on December 26, 1716. He died on July 30, 1771. He was an English poet, classical scholar, and professor at Pembroke College in Cambridge. He is known for his elegy written in a country churchyard published in 1751. In the slide number 2, I am going to explain the life and education. Thomas Gray was born in Cornhill, London. He is the son of an exchange broker and a millionaire. He was the fifth of 12 children and the only child of Philip and Dorothy Gray to survive infancy. He lived with his mother after she left his abusive father. He was educated at Eton College, where his uncle was one of the masters. Gray was a delicate and scholarly boy who spent his time reading and avoiding athletics. He lived with his uncle. He made 3 close friends at Eton. They were Horace Walpole, Thomas Aston, and Richard West. Now, let's look at writing and academia. Gray began seriously writing poems in 1742. He moved to Cambridge and began a self-imposed program of literary study, becoming one of the most learned men of his time. Gray spent most of his life as a scholar in Cambridge, and only later in his life did he begin traveling again. Although he was one of the least productive, he is regarded as the foremost English-language poet of the mid-18th century. He wrote some poems. They are: the first one is Ode on the Spring. This poem is all about spring and its beauties and wonders that it brings to the world. The second one, on the death of Richard West. It displays the ability to write poetry in an inward perspective that displays emotion and truth. The third one, Ode on the Death of a Favorite Cat, drowned in a tube of goldfishes. It is based on a real incident that happened in the house of a poet's friend. The fourth, Ode to a Distant Prospect of Eton College. Also, the elegy written in a country churchyard that was recognized immediately for its beauty and skill. The Progress of Poesy, a Pindaric Ode. Gray describes the different kinds of poetry, its varying powers, its primitive origins, and its connections with political liberty. Another poem is The Bard, a Pindaric Ode. There is a poem written in 3 parts in 1282. And the last one is The Fatal Sisters, that is an ode. Now, I am going to explain you the forms. Gray considered his 2 Pindaric odes, The Progress of Poesy and The Bard, as his best works. In the next slide, I am going to present you the honors. John Penn of Stoke had a memorial to Gray installed in the churchyard and engraved with the elegy. A plaque in Cornhill marks his birthday, and Gray's biographer William Mason erected a monument to him, designed by John Bacon the Elder in Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey in 1778. Now I am going to explain you about the Thomas Gray poems themes. They are referring to death. If Gray had not written elegy in a country churchyard, there is a good possibility his name would not be found in literature textbooks across the world. We have also the quality of mortality. Perhaps it is too simplistic to attribute to Thomas Gray an obsession with death as a theme of his poetry. Another theme is isolation and alienation. He was a intensely private man who established deep and often lifelong friendships with a very selected few, but was not a man who sought out the company of crowds. And the last one is class conflict. Thomas Gray is often looked at as writing poems that speak for the common man. The rejection of the offer to serve as secretary to an earl speaks to a lifelong disenchantment with England's aristocracy, and his most famous poem is also often interpreted as a shout out for the common man against the trappings of England's class system. This is the bibliography that I consulted to talk about Thomas Gray. Thank you very much for your attention.